Welcome to another episode of the Social Proof Podcast, where we talk entrepreneurship for a bunch of entrepreneurs. Much like you, my name is Donnie Wiggins. I am your most favorite business coach, entrepreneur, all the things, and I'm sitting here with him. We are...
My name is David Chance, host of the Social Proof Podcast Summit. Get your tickets, go to podcastsummit.com. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, and a confused entrepreneur. I am confused in this season.
You confused? Actually, me too.
Word.
I am confused. It's not even so much that it is confusion. I can't even water it down. I feel myself being pulled in a new direction. I don't know if it's new, like completely different from what I do today, or I don't know if it means elevation. I know that I'm always going to be in a space where I serve, and especially particularly serving entrepreneurs, right? But I need more to do. I love a challenge. I like to build stuff from the ground up. I like to see things working. I like the excitement of putting new systems in places and in place and all the things. And here's the one thing: once you get your business systemized, you feel like there's nothing left to do. When you build a brand the way that I've built my brand, like many days, someone will ask me, what you got going on today? And I'm like, nothing, actually. Nothing. And I want stuff to do. You remember the days where my calendar used to be like so busy from sun up to sundown? I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of map out anymore. My calendar doesn't look like that. It's very predictable. And I'm ready for a new thing.
What do you think it is?
I don't know.
You have any idea?
So I told you last week that I'm learning day trading. I went to a second class in the last couple of days. And I'm really excited because it's new to me, right? And it's something new that I get to master. So I know that I'm going to do that. I don't know if that's going to scratch the itch that I have of a new thing, but we'll see. I don't know. That's what if I knew, Dave, I wouldn't be confused.
I had a conversation. I flew down to Orlando to interview Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who wrote 2X is easier than 10X, or 10X
is easier than 2X.
Better than 2X, something
Love
like that.
Book.
And Who Not How, which is
Love that book.
A business classic. And he's actually dropping his new book, The Science of Scaling.
Let me see.
And this is a unreleased copy. I think it comes out in another month or so. And I got a chance to do an interview with him. Really honored because he said, man, I got 50 interview requests and I'm probably taking like 5. And I was one of them. So I'm really, really excited about that. And at the end of it, he said, this was like the funnest interview I've ever had. But he attacked me the whole time.
I love that for you.
But he didn't even say nothing to me though. It wasn't, I'm asking him questions and he's just answering the questions and he has no idea that he's smacking me in my face.
The whole time.
The whole conversation.
Give me an example. So what happened?
He said, most entrepreneurs build a business for lifestyle. Meaning we make enough money to do cool stuff, travel, things of that nature. He said, most entrepreneurs do not build a business to scale or to exit for 100 million. And I started to think to myself, I have not built anything or even laid the foundation of anything that someone else would buy for 100 million. And I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my confusion has been for the last week or so. Most of the things that I built have something to do with me and my personality and my ability to teach and my ability to do something and perform. A lot of it has... so we have some scalability, right? Like Morning Meetup or Actionable CEO, it has scalability, meaning it doesn't matter if there's 100 people or 10,000 people in the community, we do the same thing. It has some scalability, but it's missing some of the elements of the thing that's going to sell for 100 million. I never even really thought about that. Like, what does it take to build something that's going to sell for 100 million? And I really started to think, I just do cool stuff and I make good money for my lifestyle. But I think that's the next level, not for the fact that I need 100 million. In fact, I do need 100 million now that I think about it.
And that's my question. Like, you go back and forth so often. Sometimes you just need enough money
That's life, ain't it?
That's life. Sometimes, like I remember we had an episode, I don't know, this year, last year, where we talked about not being interested in making $1 billion, not wanting to do the work that's required. Do you want to do the work that's required to make $1 billion?
Yeah.
But when you now talk about 100 million, to me, 100 million and $1 billion basically look like the same thing to me with what I would have the ability to do, right?
Sure.
So do you believe that you're in a place right now where not just motivated based on a conversation, but you really, really deeply want to build something to $100 million and you're the man to get that done based on your lifestyle?
Here's the attractive part. I look at anyone who built something and sold it for 100 million, 500 million, they literally have to spend all of their life building that one thing.
Yep.
So somebody like, I don't know, Isaac Hayes, building fan base. He wakes up every single morning and there's one thought in his mind. How am I going to build that?
Yeah.
Zuckerberg, Facebook. He wasn't day trading. He wasn't investing in real estate. He wasn't doing a podcast. Like it's the excitement for me that just came into my mind was, man, out of all the stuff that I do, what if I didn't do any of it and I woke up with one singular focus every single day? The guy who built NVIDIA, every single is an intense focus that has to take place. So I think that's the next level. I want to be working on something every day, building it to a legendary status, because I'm not doing any of that right now.
But what I also know about you is there was a season that we were in highly focused, and it still wasn't the 100 million. Remember we wanted to sell Social Proof for 100 million? And it's not past tense, just putting that out there. If anybody wants it, come and get it. 30 million.
Right.
Easily.
But even in that, that's not even the exit I'm talking about, because that's just like a deal where someone gives us 100 million and we still got to perform. I'm talking about building exit. Something.
Let me ask you this.
And you take it.
What if you built something where you became a $100 million company? You became, not exited for, but you're now a $100 million company. Is that the same?
I think I've done everything in the entrepreneurship space that you would be able to respect me as an entrepreneur. I've made a bunch of money, got some real estate and investments, and I got a community, and I built some cool stuff. But I don't have that on the resume of an exit to build something absent of me, because everything I build has something to do with me and my flair. And I think that's only going to get us to, 8 figures. But
do you think Bob Proctor and Sally Gallagher built a $100 million company?
I don't know.
I'd be interested to know.
And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with what we do, because we're happy.
We are happy. But I also think that we can figure it out. I think that we could build a $100 million company. I think it's a decision. I think it's as much of a decision as it was that day that we sat on Social Proof podcast and said, we're going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we would do in that time frame. And $1 million didn't look possible with the pieces that we had at that time. But we went on and we made it happen in a very quick period of time. I think that maybe it's possible that you're overthinking it. I think there is something that you can do where and you want to sell it. You don't want to generate it, because I believe I can generate $100 million if I felt like doing that kind of work. The truth is, I don't know if I am the woman who wants to do the kind of work. I just want to be happy. I want to live. I want to do the things. Now, I do believe, though, like I am building Actionable CEO with the intent for it to outlive me, right? And so that could even mean that one day I sell it. It could mean that one day it's inherited by my daughter or whoever I decide to leave it to. But I do believe wholeheartedly that that's a $100 million plus brand, all day, every day. It's just that I have to now start bringing in other elements that's not Donnie Wiggins. The direction that I want to go into, especially with Actionable CEO right now, is to teach other people my framework so that my community can hear from different voices, but it's based on my framework. I am really nervous about exposing my community to just random different people, right? Which is also why, on full transparency, I don't interview a whole lot of people anymore. And it's because You'll interview them today and the story is great. And then 3 years from now, they're on FBI's Most Wanted.
They're doing something totally different.
They're doing something completely
different.
And it's happened, or they've shifted in their business and they weren't as solid, and you figure these things out. But what I really want to do, and I am so inspired by the Bob Proctor and Sally Gallagher brand. Like, for me, that's goals, right? Bob Proctor passed away at this point a few years ago, and the business is still functioning. And it's based on his concepts. They've taught other people his concepts. And so it really is still based around him. But there's so many other coaches and mentors in that space who are shifting and doing the education. That's what I would like to see happen.
Yeah, I think just in the coaching space, it's going to be very, very difficult because people are attracted to their coach, essentially. You know what I mean? So it's even hard to scale to that level to where someone else takes it, because someone signs up because I believe that Donnie can help me and I feel connected to the message. So Don is here, Uncle Phil's. Shouts out to Uncle Phil's Cheesesteak. They're building something where it's not, I don't come because I need him to be there. I go buy the cheesesteak because it's good.
Yeah.
But now we have to like expand it. So I built out this whole framework for myself, which is a checklist, and none of the stuff that I have fit this checklist, but that's okay because now I can analyze it. So if I'm going to scale something and be able to exit it, it's the prism. And I came up with it yesterday or earlier today.
Okay.
One is it has to solve a real big problem. So with the P is the problem. And I think we solve a big problem. Entrepreneurs have no idea how to make money, how to scale, things of that nature. Big problem. The R is revenue predictability.
Okay.
So it has to have a model where we can actually predict the revenue. We can do that because we have like a recurring community, or one of the things I built out this curriculum, which I need to put more focus on, that can give me predictable revenue because it's an entrepreneurship curriculum that goes into schools. And if we can sign a 3-year contract, we can start getting districts and they'll pay for it every single year as long as it's updated. And we can count on this amount of people having it. I is independent of you. And that's where a lot of us fall short, because if we're being 100% honest, if we step away from it,
oh, it's over with.
It's over.
Over
People
with.
think we just we got all this passive income because no.
Passive.
If I leave,
where? I do a call every single day.
Oh my gosh.
You do a call every single day. My community owns me.
Yeah.
My hey, actionable CEO, you guys are the boss of me, actually. This isn't freedom. This isn't freedom, but it is purpose. It's purpose, it's passion. I love doing what I do, but I too am figuring it out. And I don't know if you remember even my 6-figure accelerator program, my course that I had, which used to be my signature course. The reason that I ended it, remember, was number one, I wanted to update the information and it was supposed to be revised. But I haven't sold a course in 2 years at this point. And the reason that I have not is because it requires a community for support, and I don't want to do it. And when I delegated that support off to other people, the results just weren't the same. So that made me feel like it has to be me. Yeah. And I don't want to build another thing where it has to be me. But I believe, oh my God, I believe that we can teach duplication and scale through duplication.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we're in the right or picking the right people, or maybe we just don't know enough. Maybe this is just where we've taken ourselves to the point of where we can grow and we have to learn some more.
Yeah.
Who can we learn from that has transitioned a brand from a personal brand to a non-personal brand reliant model that scaled that company?
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the morning meetup. Every single month we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month, and every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast, they join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot. I think our issue in the model that we're building right now is it's based on someone's ability to perform. So even we have to find somebody, like let's say other people are going to come on and coach and teach in the classes. They have to be dope and the people have to like them.
Yes.
But if you think about the most scalable business in the world, which is McDonald's, they have 16-year-olds running this multi-billion-dollar company because it doesn't matter who dips the fries. It's about the thing that they get that they can get over and over again. And it's virtually impossible for a person to get the same experience, not only from just us, but from even if you have a bunch of different coaches that are teaching, it's virtually impossible for that user to get the same experience every single time. Or like Massage Envy, right? It's a company where you get this, it's the same pricing model, massages. That's a company somebody came up with. It says, it doesn't matter how good of a job I do. They want to buy this thing. This is what they need. So the S in that is scalability, which I think we both understand. Being able to make more money without extra effort. So it doesn't matter in our community if it's 100 or 100,000, doesn't matter. And M, I think, is where a lot of people stutter in their business is the moat, building the moat in business, which a moat, I had to like research what this was, but the moat is like they will have like a castle, then water around it to protect from outside enemies from coming in, especially because they was like on horseback and all that. But a moat in business is how unique essentially is your business and how hard is it for somebody to come in and duplicate exactly what you've done. So we typically don't have a unique element to it. Somebody saying, yeah, I'm gonna build a coaching program. Well, there's 1,000 of them. I think with our moat, it's a little more, we created somewhat of a moat in the morning meetup because one, you'd have to find someone that's willing to wake up every single day and teach entrepreneurship. Two, you got to have somebody that's actually in the game still, because there's a lot of people teaching stuff that they don't do anymore because they couldn't build it and they start teaching it because they know the philosophy, but they gave up on it and they started teaching. And someone has like the success, the track record. So it's hard to find all of those elements. So I think that's somewhat of a moat, but it's just unscalable in another area. So those are like my 5 check marks, and none of my businesses really fulfill the 5. But once I start inputting what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to end up stop doing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing and just focus on building this thing.
Which is what's required. You know, every single time that you're going to another level, you have to break off of the things that will hold you back from that, whether it's people or some of the business models. We've done that already. We've already had to make a decision to cut certain things off in order to just hit 7 figures.
But then
so
we
now
bring on more stuff. It's like we be replacing.
all right. We be doing mass swapping. But no, when I just remember that moment so clearly. Why can't we make $1 million? Why is it so hard to make $1 million? And somebody made it very clear to us, like, you're multitaskers. You're doing all the things. And what'd he say? If you want to make $1 million, focus on making 10 or something like that. And we were pissed off about the advice. It just didn't make sense. And then one day it kind of hit us like, you have to slow down in order to speed up. And slowing down meant that I had to stop doing all these little side hustles, all these things on the side that I'm doing to make $60,000 from this for the year and $70,000 from that from the year. And, oh, I can't give that up because that's an extra $1,000 a month. We have to give some of those things up. But there's a grieving period that goes along with it. Like leaving the kiosk in the mall for you, leaving the mall and running that kiosk business was painful.
Yeah.
This is where you started. This is where you built recognition. This is where you learned sales skills. This is where you mastered skills and converted skills that you learned from Cheesecake Factory into actual entrepreneurship. That's a grieving process. Like, we have to have a funeral for this and move on. But it required that you did that so you could free up some capacity in order to become this version of you today.
You know what? As you're saying that, I do wonder if I did something wrong, though, because I do believe I was on the right path in terms of this exit.
Okay.
I built up so much brand I could have sold Sleepers for Suckers. I could have sold that t-shirt brand because it wasn't about buying it for me. People would come to the kiosk, whether they had an experience with my man Cato or my man Change or any of the people that was like working at the kiosk, because the message was strong, and people would come buy the shirts. And there was a bunch of people wearing the shirts. This guy had a Sleepers for Suckers tattoo on his hand. He still got it today. Some guy from the UK. I got to get that picture and insert here, but I was on the right path in terms of like building something that's independent of me. It can scale. It's a lot of hard work in the t-shirt business and all that kind of stuff. But then I started going personal branding, and personal branding relied more heavily on me. I wrote a book and I started speaking. I started teaching, and it's all on me. But I believe I was on the right path of building that thing that could sell.
So do you believe personal brand business models are a dead end?
It depends on what you're looking to accomplish. I don't think anything's wrong. It's just in the conversation we're having today, for myself,
right, for sure,
it's nearly impossible to exit it.
So I went to my girl, Chatty, and I asked, are there any coaching type businesses that have generated $100 million plus in a single calendar year? The very first one that pops up is Tony Robbins' companies. He is estimated revenue at over $500 million a year. First of all, shout out Tony Robinson.
Shouts out to Tony.
Yo, Tony, can we have a conversation? Can you just give us the one sentence advice to tell us how to do that? And then all the problems are solved. Because Tony Robbins could sell Tony Robbins' companies. He could absolutely sell that brand to someone else, because it's not just reliant upon his teaching framework, but it's also highly duplicated. Like, obviously, his Unleash the Power Within and the Business Mastery and both those things, they have other leaders who are speaking. Yes, he still shows up in them, but I believe he has a sellable brand. It's scaled already. $500 million a year.
No, yeah, for sure. But that's different than, I think that's different. One, because for you to duplicate what he did, you have to either be teaching and speaking for 40 years, or like Mr. Beast, they wanted to buy his brand of videos for $1 billion. But I'm 100% positive that he still has to produce the videos.
So you don't want to do anything.
I'm talking about an exit where you build something and sell it to someone else.
Somebody comes and acquires you and you're out of there.
Nobody knows whether Uncle Phil's is run by Don or Kay bought it. It's just a thing that you build that someone else can take on independent of the person. And in that example of Tony Robbins, he still has to be Tony Robbins.
I think we could transition Social Proof into a model that we could exit for $100 million.
We have to build the model, though.
Very much like mastermind.com.
Mastermind.com, or what's it?
That's Dean
Masterclass?
Grazioso. Dean Grazioso. What's his name? Dean Grazioso? Grazioski?
Or Masterclass.
Masterclass is another one.
The only problem with that is I think it came at a time where people were making courses and they were super unfamiliar with what a course was. But now I wonder, they're not running as many ads for Masterclass.
I still see them.
I don't see them like they used to. Golly,
they used to be everywhere, but I see Kris Jenner's ad almost every day.
But I think they have a model. It's based on these people, but I think that's a good model. But it's not. We don't know who owns that. And
then there's this other coaching platform. I'm not sure of what they generate annually in revenue, but I know that they could scale this company. I forget the name of it. I'll come back with it, but they're an accountability platform, and you don't know who owns it. It's literally just a bunch of accountability coaches. You're assigned an accountability coach, and they call you for 15 minutes, however often you want. So it could be every single day. It could be 3 times a day. And there are thousands of these accountability coaches that call all of their clients all over the world just to help hold them accountable.
Yeah.
That's up my alley.
I think that's fire.
That's up my alley.
Hold on, there's somebody that did that?
I used to be a client.
Bro, they just call you and hold you accountable?
Yeah. So what you do
I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you, probably 6 or 7 years ago, that was, I remember like I was like, I don't have the capacity to build this, but if somebody would just call you and tell you the thing you said you was going to do, I think that is a multi-trillion, they stole this from me probably.
They didn't. They've been around for some time. I was a client in 2020 to 2022.
I'm telling you, I was talking about this in like 2018. I'm telling you, bro. Like I was like, I had this idea. I'm like, if you just tell me what you're supposed to do, a random person can call, cuss you out a little bit. Like, did you go to the gym? No?
Yeah.
So you want your back to be fat forever.
Well, and you know
all right,
what's
cool. And
interesting
then hang up on
is
you.
when I initially
$10 a month.
When I initially started Six Figure Accelerator, part of the program was you were assigned an accountability coach, and people would call you to hold you accountable to making sure you were achieving your goals and doing what you said you were going to do, right? And it was just like that. It was very Donnie Wiggins, but via someone else. And as I'm talking this through right now, the accountability portion was the most exciting part of that for me, right? Obviously, we didn't maintain or retain that because participation kind of went down, right? But that was the part that was most exciting. Sometimes I think we have the components and we're just not thinking big enough.
100%.
Like, look at this company that all they do is that, whereas I had it implemented into a business model where it was a component of it. All of my clients, like especially back in the day, my clients used to get an accountability check-in. I had a personal assistant who would call my clients and hold them accountable a couple of times to make sure that they were prepared for our next meeting, right? Yeah. Did you do this, and this based on what you and Donnie talked about on your project management board? You know she's going to want to do that or we're going to have to cancel this call. That's how it used to go in my business, right? But then I started to feel like, I don't know if people really appreciate that. I don't know if they like it. I think it scares them. Maybe it pushes them away. Maybe it's too much pressure. So I removed that piece. The component that I had that I was executing, number one, I was thinking on a small scale because I only offered it to students and clients who had already purchased something from me. This same company does the same thing, 15 minutes of your time, however many days you feel like you need it. And they are building a brand with a singular focus of only holding you accountable. And maybe the missing element in our business model, and for those of you who are watching this in your business model, is that you are putting so much information or so many offers, so much premium stuff in one offer. You've got the course, you've got the support group, you've got the accountability calls, you've got the in-person co-working days, you've got the virtual co-working days, you've got all the things. I can't say it on camera. But what if in all of these pieces that you're putting together in your offer, there's one element that if you just zeroed in on that one element that people really enjoy about your business and your offer, that's your $100 million exit.
I agree.
I just came up with one.
You got it?
I got one.
You better write it down before you forget it.
No, I'm not forgetting this. I just came up with one.
You should write it down. Because you'll be sick if you forget it. No, I think a lot of the problem is, like you said, we just don't see it big enough. We don't even think about. There's certain things we don't think about. You collect phone numbers for your business?
Yes, for sure.
What do you do? What do you do with them?
They go into my CRM. What do you mean? Like, what's my process with them?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm saying, what do you collect them for?
For marketing, for follow-up.
Right. So I'll give 2 stories. One, Daniel Priestley, he spoke at Podcast Summit last year. And I saw him speak at Myron's event, and I was like, this guy's incredible. So I asked both of them, Daniel Priestley and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, after they spoke, I went to the back and I said, let me back here because I got Podcast Summit coming up and I want you to come. Dr. Benjamin Hardy, I said, man, can you come speak at Podcast Summit? He said, well, if you got 50,000, sure. I said, dang, I don't have 50,000 for you. I asked Daniel Priestley. Daniel said, man, sure, because we was like chopping it up. And he's like, man, I'll come. I said, really? He said, yeah, just check my assistant, make sure I'm free. I'll come. No problem. So we get to talking. He says, okay, I'll be there. He said, I will be there if you put, how many people are going to be there? I said, about a little over 1,000 people. He said, put one of my books on each one of the seats when I come out. I said, oh, I get it. You're not charging me to speak. You just want to buy the books. I'll buy the books. And I'm thinking it's going to be a discount. Maybe you sell the books for $30. You'll give them to me for, I don't know, $10, 1,000, 10,000, me paying you 10,000 essentially. I was like, okay, I get it. So I'm like, all right, so how's this going to work? I'm like, so, when do we get the books and all that? He said, oh, I'll just ship them to you. I said, oh, so, and who pays for the shipping? He said, I'll pay for the shipping. I said, all right, so what do you need from me? Because I didn't want to say how much the books. I said,
how much?
So what do you need from me? He said, nothing. I'll just print the books and send them. I said, that's interesting. When I wrote my book, I wrote the book knowing that this book is going to cost me $2 to print, and I'm going to sell it for $30. And if I sell 1,000 books, I make $30,000. Easy. Minus 2,500 or whatever. But he's like, no, I'll pay for the book. I'll send it to you. Just put the books on the chairs. And I said, oh, there's a different game being played here.
A different game being played.
My lens is I write a book to sell it. How many am I going to sell? And I'll make the money. There's something in that book, and he's betting out of 1,000 people, if 800 actually take it home and 200 actually read it, there's something in that book that's going to lead somebody to something else that's going to make him another $1 million.
1,000%.
That's one idea of my limited thinking. When we put together our funnels to collect emails and phone numbers, we want to market our product, so we have our audience in our CRM or in our pocket.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with actually the person who sold me this building. Brilliant guy. His name's Daniel too. He said, the name of the game is data. He said, Kroger, with those like memberships, that is a $500 million division of the company. They make a $500 million every single year simply by the data. We think we're using it so that we can get the buy one, get one free Captain Crunch. And they're like, oh, this is nice for Kroger to offer. Oh, you don't have the membership. Okay, well, sign up real quick, get your little card. And you're like, oh, no problem. They sell that data and do some, I don't know what they do with it, but $500 million a year. And that's not selling a grocery. That's not selling milk. That's not a location. That's simply that particular division. So there's like a higher level of business that I want to get. We just don't see it.
So who can teach? Put us in front of the person. We need a mentor. We need a next level mentor. We need a mentor who has exited a company. We need a mentor who has prepared companies for mergers and acquisitions. And we're talking about on a grand scale, because I've gone to the conferences, I've invested in the masterminds, $40,000, $50,000 to learn how to acquire and even be set up to be acquired, right? But there's still something like, I need more than that. So I understand that piece. We need somebody to work on our limited mindsets. Hey, you guys, confession. David and Donnie have very limited mindsets.
Extremely.
We have extremely limited mindsets, and we owe you guys an apology. We owe you an apology because we've made you believe that we think so big.
In comparison to how we did think, we're thinking huge, but there's always a whole nother level.
There's a whole other level. And here's the thing though, are we at the level that we're supposed to be at right now? Have we put enough skin in the game to be talking about $100 million exit?
Yeah.
You think so?
100%.
Okay. So then we are thinking too small. And again, for that, we apologize. We need you guys to hold us accountable. It's time for our $100 million exit.
It's time. At least start building something.
It's time
with
to
these
start
components in mind.
Building a company with the prism in mind.
This has really been messing me
I'm
up for the last
actually
week.
ready to get to work.
You and I both.
I'm ready to get to work. First of all, I can think of a number of things that you and I have left on the table, that we leave on the table every single day. We are, David, even though we're thinking, this is why I tell people that your best isn't good enough, because it's subjective. We, I believe, do our best a lot of times, which is why we've accomplished what we've been able to accomplish. But based on the bigger picture and the grand scheme of the goals, our best just isn't good enough. We literally have limited thinking. You and I have sat down and had ideas that are major ideas, mega successful potential ideas, and we sit there and do what we tell other people not to do. We try to figure out all the details, all of the what ifs, all of the probability of what could go wrong, what could go right, instead of committing to the action and getting it done.
Yeah. But I think we're on a good path because we're teaching people that aren't, they'd like to get to the status or money or whatever that we have now. And we're just teaching based on, look, you can get here.
You can get
no
here.
problem. But I think it's a good sign to show, we not at no mountaintop, right? We are all in the same grind, just at a different level. There's somebody who makes $100 million a year that is like, how do you do the billion? I don't understand how to get to the $1 billion status. And they're just as frustrated. And it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing in business. It just means it's time for that next level.
But before you accept that next level, I want to be clear that this is your desire and you weren't just mesmerized by what Dr. Ben Hardy said, right? Yeah. Because I remember talking about large amounts of money and things that we could do. And at one point it's like, how much money do you actually need? Yeah. Is this a David Shands goal that you're ready to commit to?
Well, I don't know. But here's the thing. Here's what I believe I know to be true. If I was to go after this,
I just thought about it.
My life would probably be less hectic.
Maybe. Do you remember what we were talking about building? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a $100 million exit.
100%.
All day. You ready?
100%.
No. Are you ready? Because David, you know.
But here's why I hesitate on the being ready. Because to build something like that, it requires you to let go of a lot. And let me tell you about the anxiety that I felt. The anxiety I felt is, if I'm really gonna lock into something and I have this real big idea, I may have to not do the morning meetup ever again. I may have to not do podcast summit or podcast coaching ever again because I don't want to straddle a fence. So this is the conversation I'm having with myself. Am I ready to, because if we tiptoe through it and we hold on to the stuff that we got, I don't believe we're going to get the result that we're looking for.
But we do have to actually start and begin to see evidence of some success. Like we have to prove the concept first, right? And in order to, we have to prove the concept. We got to prove the model.
Maybe.
It's not maybe. We for sure have to prove the model.
There can be a commitment. Bro, here's the thing. I believe if I stop doing all the stuff that I'm doing right now and I commit to an idea, I'll easily get back to the status that I'm at. We talk about multiple streams of income, but here's my newest desire right now is to have one really, really strong stream of income. Obviously, we got investments, things of that nature, but I do believe that if I stop doing podcasts and I stop teaching and coaching and I locked in on this one thing, I'll get back to the annual business that I have now.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So
but it's because it's in you. Yeah. I don't have a problem of letting go. In fact, I'm the queen of letting go.
I love a good let go.
I love a good let go, right? I can cut off, but that's just my chemical makeup. And that is part of the confusion for me. This is the longest that I have been committed to an idea, to a single idea. Like even when I did, 10 years in the network marketing industry, I went to different companies every couple of years, right? So yes, I have all this time in this industry. When I was in property management and real estate, yes, I was in that industry for 13 years, but I was project based. I went and did this condo community here, that condo community here, this lease up there. So this is the longest that I have been in a single idea.
Yeah.
When I say I'm the queen of letting go, I am the woman who will pack up her bags and move. Like, when I lived in my other condo building, I moved from floor to floor. Let me try this floor plan. Oh, I'll do this floor plan. Let me go here. Let me just move right around the corner. And I've already, like, in under a year of living there, I'd already tried to move to a different apartment. The people said, just chill. You gotta stay somewhere. I don't have a problem. I love to kind of bounce around in that way. I like the idea of starting something, but I think and being able to make it successful, enjoy it for however long I'm enjoying it, and then move on to the new idea. I like the steadiness of being in the industry of entrepreneurship, right? But I love the idea of these different challenges that pop up that I can work on. And that's why I shine so well in those areas. Yeah. Like, you want to throw me a challenge at the very last minute? Of course I'm going to take it. That's what I do. Those things, like, it's a rush for me. It's orgasmic. Like it's really a rush. But living a life where I'm living the same life every single day, doing the same mundane thing, that's not me, but that's somebody else's dream to have that kind of predictability. I don't mind letting go because I know, like, one of my affirmations to God is, like, God, please bless me with this or better. So let me maintain this or give me better. I know that when I let go, better is next. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that just is what it is. I've proven that. I've done it over and over and over again.
Yeah. So we don't have a bad life. We could just keep doing what we're doing. And going down a path we're going down, eventually something's going to come down the lane and it's going to be, yo, I want you to do this, and we'll make tons and tons and tons of money. But I don't know.
I'm not in my season right now of caring about money.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But I think going down the same path, we'd be just as happy and just as successful. Yeah. But we need to decide is, do we want to dedicate the next 6 years? Yo, a stat I found that, and like when I was looking at all these companies that sold for $1 million in the last 12 months, it was a bunch of them. 85% of those businesses sold within 7 years of inception.
And I love the idea of that. Even in the season that I'm in right now, in the last year and a half, maybe 2, I've cut off a lot of things. I don't sell a course anymore. I don't take clients at the same volume as I used to anymore. I have been willing to walk away from money, and I haven't been looking for a replacement necessarily for it. Like, I'm okay making less money in exchange for the quality of life that I'm looking for. In exchange. Yeah. So now for me, like, I noticed when my business became very mundane and predictable, like, now I need to free up some time. What can I do? Travel. Okay, so I'll hop on a plane, I'll just go somewhere at any given time.
Nani be out.
I'll be out of here, right? That brings me excitement. Well, because that's where I found the excitement, now I have to release a little bit of responsibility, but keep just enough so I can afford to continue to live the way that I want to live, right? I think that is I don't want to call it a prison because God knows I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. But that is the box that we build ourselves into when you're building a personal brand. Yeah. And if we had something that wasn't dependent upon us necessarily showing up, and I can manage it from here, and here, and I don't have to be on a weekly Zoom or a daily Zoom at the same time. I want you guys to really understand, because a lot of this could sound like maybe we're complaining, but it's a challenge to have to block off your calendar every single day. No, people know it because you do it even on your corporate job. That feeling of having to be somewhere every single day. You may love your job. You may love the people that you work with, but you can't tell me that there's not ever a Monday or a Wednesday or a Thursday where you're like, I just wish I could stay home today without any consequences. 100%. It is not easy to have to be building something. It's not easy. And it probably isn't the safest choice to build something that's 100% based off of who you are.
100%. That's the season.
That's the season. We really got to talk about that idea.
Yeah.
We have $100 million exit ideas. We have scalable and sellable. I have a phone full of them. We just hadn't moved on. And I think that we have been intimidated by the size of the project.
I don't even think about that. I don't think we're intimidated by it. I just think it's past the idea. It's like all the stuff that has to happen for us to actually go after the idea. And it takes an incredible focus that we may or may not be ready for right now. You know what I mean? Are we ready to like really shake up our lives and build this one thing? And that stat where 85% of those people that sold businesses did it in 7 years because that's the only thing they were focused on for 7 years, and they sold. But we just do a lot of stuff, and we put down a lot of stuff, and we just pick stuff back up.
We slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
Just to slow down and find ourselves in the HOV lane anyway.
Yes. I want to switch gears for a second. I saw a video. No. This brother to my right sent me a video. And it said, we'll play the video in the interview. But he sent it to me, and I think your message to me was I wrong? And essentially, the video said, I'm not begging nobody to be on my podcast. Mm-hmm. Do you watch the video?
I see it.
I'm not begging nobody to be on my podcast. And I'm guessing that you reached out to somebody to be on your podcast, and they was like, yo, give me some money and I'll be there. And that prompted this video that y'all about to watch.
Week on the Razor Sharp podcast.
So today's topic is, today's topic is, we ain't begging you to be on this podcast. I'm coming here because we put a lot of work in, bro.
A lot. With the way the industry is going, I think people are starting to smell themselves a little
too much. First of all, what I do is I do research. I'm not going to name no names of the people that we have reached out to, that the people that represent them has came back with some bull.
What is it going to kill you to do a simple interview that probably is going to last 30 to 40 minutes?
Yeah.
You want me to pay you
$750
for 30 to 45 minutes of your time?
Yeah. So when I come to somebody, you may not know who I am because you're new in the industry. You only got 5 or 6 years in the industry, so you may not know who I am. You may not know what my cough is, or you may not know who Swole is. You're going to get this right today. Y'all going to get it right today. This is Radio Shop Podcast. This is a barber and beauty podcast that we are influencers that influence the barber industry and the beauty industry by highlighting, sharing, and communicating with people in the industry that is doing something.
You have to remember why you're doing it, bro. Like, if somebody's trying to give you your flowers and give you your respect, then take it, bro.
All right, we're back.
Now we're back.
We're back.
So, Tara, welcome to the Social Proof Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely.
All right, so explain, give me some context for your video.
Okay, so my name is Sarah the Barber. I have a podcast called Razor Sharp Podcast. It's a barber beauty lifestyle podcast. I've been in the barber industry for over 15 years. I've been highlighting all of the main and small beauty events. CT Barber Expo, LV Barber Expo, the Black Beauty Expo, any kind of expo, even the Small Business Expo. Mm-hmm. So I go to these events. I do a lot of highlighting of the go-getters, the small people, businesses and vendors.
The context of the video.
The video itself was I would be in my back office messaging a whole bunch of people, right, trying to get the next guest to come on. Just to try to find guests, and I'm researching who's big, who has a big following, and I'm like, okay, well, let me reach out to these people. I reach out to them, and now these people have booking agents. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm talking to them direct, because I meet them and we have conversations at these events, and they're like, yeah, bro, just hit me up and we gonna connect. They do the Varnell Hill thing to me. Like, if you ever in town, I'm gonna get you on, right? So, all right, cool. So I get back home, I message these people, and then they saying, well, what's your budget? I never got a question like that before. I said, what is that? Okay, so, well, his budget is $750.
So there's a real situation. You reached out to somebody, they said, we will come on your podcast, you give him $750.
Yes.
And what was going through your mind and your heart at that moment?
I was like, $750 for what? Why am I paying you to get on my podcast? Now, mind you, I reach out to these people because they have a big following. They put in a lot of work when it comes to social media, but they don't have that much skin in the game.
Were you offended?
Of course I was.
Okay.
You should come on my podcast just because it's a barber podcast and you're a barber.
Okay, cool. Donnie, give me your perspective. Because when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is interesting. So that's when I hit Donnie. I was like, yo, let me invite her on the podcast because I would love to have this conversation. So what are your thoughts?
Immediately, I think you have a lot of audacity. Yeah. I think that you reached out to conduct business and you were offended on a personal level. Who does this person think I am to pay them any amount of money? Do they know who I am and what I do? You are assuming that you're making the assumption, right? That your position in your industry and your marketplace is so valuable to other people that they want to give you their most valuable asset, which is their time. No, they should not automatically want to come and be on your podcast. That's just like us saying, hey, Barack Obama, you should want to come and be on our podcast. You conduct business and we're a podcast that talks about business. We could never be so audacious as to say he should want to come on our podcast just because he works in an industry that we may work in. When people are, you mentioned also when you were seeking people, you intentionally made offers to people who had booking agents. That's indication number one that their voice, their speaking, their showing up, their appearances is a framework of their business model. That's business for them. I don't speak for fun, right? You can't have me fly in to do your conference for fun. You want someone to come on and give value, but you hadn't placed any level of the value that you give them back, right?
I can understand that.
Right? And so while I don't think that everybody should charge to be on a podcast, I don't think that everybody is ready necessarily to charge to be on a podcast. But if this is that person's business model, you got to respect that and move on from it. If it's not what you're prepared to do, that's also fine, right? That's also okay. You just then go and pitch other people that is willing to give you their time for free. But that's essentially what you're at. It's not even an ask. It's almost a demand because you're offended. How dare they? Yeah. You went and did a whole podcast episode about the fact that they offended you and pissed you off so badly because they asked for $750. Could that interview have generated you more than $750 on the back end for your business?
So that's what I was thinking, right? Because after I calmed down from the initial email, because I didn't
That's the major crux of this.
reply. I didn't reply for a day or two. I had to really ponder it over, right? And of course, I'm the type of person that like just fly off the hinge. So of course, this is not the only person that came back because first of all, I'm thinking that, these individuals, I'm speaking to you direct because from the conversation that we had but before me reaching out to them to come on the pod, it's like, let's do this, hit me back and we could go from there. I'm not thinking that I'm speaking to a booking agent. I'm thinking I'm speaking to you when I'm hitting you up on your social media. So with that, I was like thrown back a little bit, but I thought about it for a minute. $750, what can I get from it? Now, I've done episodes with barbers that have a great following, and I do send you out a contract that states what is your requirements from us when we put out the footage. You have to repost. You got to put up on your stories.
Whoa!
You have the nerve to be offended when you're telling me all the stuff I gotta do.
There's
for
a
you?
commitment. There's a contract here. You want me to perform? You want me to perform for free?
No.
Listen, because now it's not just a podcast, right? Now you're hiring me to do a job for you for free. Essentially, you want me to sign all of this responsibility away. I have to appear on your podcast. Is it in person?
It is in person.
I have to get dressed, get ready, come to you.
No, I come to you.
I have to get dressed, get ready, be prepared for you to come into my space, right?
Absolutely.
I have to sit and have a 45-minute conversation with you about whatever you want to talk about. I have to give value to your audience, but then I have to take your podcast clips because you want to grow and you want exposure. I now have to repost your clips on my platform probably 2 and 3 times. Do this, accept the collaboration, work for you for free, and you won't give me $750 for my time?
Bro.
I'm listening.
That's nuts.
So the reason why I'm thankful for you guys to invite me over here so we got this conversation, because when I sent it to you to ask you Was I wrong? I send it to a lot of people that I respect their opinion, right? So I want your feedback because I've been doing podcasting for over 7 years. This barber podcast is just something new to me. I have a motivational podcast called Intro Morning Monday that I've been doing for 7 years, and that I never have a problem. But this new thing that I'm doing with the barber thing, with me, molding it into what I do as a barber, highlighting people. Now, my podcast is not me really just trying to see how do you get these followers. No, my questions is different from what other podcasters do. I want to know your life. I want to know how did you get there as far as who you are,
You hear
right?
what you're saying?
Yes.
I want to know. I ask these questions. We have no responsibility to get on your podcast. Here's the issue. There's nothing wrong with you telling people they need to post and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. The biggest problem is that you're offended that someone won't take time out of their day to do something for you.
To work for you.
A stranger.
With a large following and massive success, according to you.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Insane, in fact.
Yeah.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
So am I delusional?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the
Every
reason why
bit of
I
it.
asked
I think
those
you know
words,
you are, though.
Well, because my wife, we had this conversation this morning, and she said, I think you're being delusional when it comes to these things.
You got you a good woman, brother.
Hey,
Shout out to my wife.
Girl,
man,
head on her shoulders, don't
listen
it?
to your woman. She know, babe, you're delusional.
Yeah. But it is me. Of course, I got a big ego. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Sagittarius do have big egos.
So now it's based on the astrology.
It's going to be the astronomy and all of these
now
things.
It's based
Like,
on blame it on the zodiac sign.
listen,
All right.
isn't the Sagittarius like half man, half horse?
Don't
No.
What?
It's just your arrogance, bro.
You're just arrogant.
I'm just
Don't
saying.
put everybody on this
trying
little
to
box.
All
I'm trying to put it-
Sagittarius is my best friend. Oh, she's a Scorpio. I have Sagittarius friends. In fact, they're some of the nicest people ever.
Of course.
Tara,
I'm nice.
Hey, listen, I need you to look. This is your camera right here. Look in this camera right here and say, I'm arrogant.
I'm very arrogant.
I'm delusional.
I sometimes could be delusional.
I am audacious.
I don't know what that word is.
I have a lot of audacity.
I do have the audacity.
I have expectations of others to do things for me for free.
I have expectations for others to contribute in the realm of barbering the same way
For
as I
free.
do.
For free. So,
You can
also
do it for
add
free?
this. I will try to justify my actions any way possible.
I will try to find a way to justify my actions. In
I want you to
any
repeat this
way
one last
possible.
thing, though.
That's a fact.
I want you to repeat this one last thing.
I'm listening.
If I keep this up, I will not be successful.
If I keep this up, I won't be successful.
Okay.
And
I wanna-
appreciate that because, again, the reason why the conversation is being had is because I'm not the only person that thinks this, right? There's a lot of people that have came to me, messaged me, and say, yo, bro, I've had that same issue when it came to me doing my part, and that's the reason why I stopped it. I'm the type of person that I'm very
Which
consistent.
is crazy.
So
Dave, you know what this
I
reminds
can just
me
continue
of?
to do it.
You know what
That
this
is
reminds me of?
wild.
This reminds me of the man or the guy who is trying to date the woman who is way out of their league. You're just out of your league right now. If you are not prepared to pay these very successful, impactful, highly engaged people in your industry, stop trying to play in that league. And let me
respect
tell
that.
you something. When they want to be on your podcast, they're going to come to you and they're going to ask you, hey, how can I get on your podcast? When you've done enough, contributed enough value, made enough impact, made enough difference, and people are talking about your podcast, these people who you want that you don't want to pay, they're going to come and ask you, hey, can you come and interview me next? I want to be down. I want to get on. But until then, I need you to play in your lane. Stay in your lane. You're out of your league. You are the guy trying to date the woman who's into name brand. She lives a luxurious life, and you want to come into her life and give her everything except for the materials.
That's a fact.
You are the guy who's talking to the materialistic woman, and you want to come to her and approach her without any materials. It never works. Stay with the women who don't value materials. They're okay with Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, I think one of the
I love that.
the toughest things is you've had some people validate your feelings, but the people that validated your feelings quit because of that. And they say something's wrong with podcasting. Something's wrong with all these people. They're crazy. They want to charge me. Bruh, we have no obligation.
None.
The fact that there's other people that feel the same way you feel, I'm talking to them too. Y'all are broken, like mentally. Just I don't know if we feel like the world owes us something, but nobody owes us anything. But here's what's cool. if you get to a point where you build the platform to a level where everybody's checking it out and it has some notoriety, those people will pay you.
1,000%.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm
telling you.
There was an episode that you just dropped where there was a gentleman on there that said that, you got a podcast, right? And if people stop listening to your if you stop doing your podcast, they'll just jump to the next thing because you're not really that important, right? Yeah. And then I had that and I put that clip up because I said, "Dag, he's speaking to me right now," because I'm thinking that I'm that dude. Yeah. I'm Terry the Barber, the husband, the father. I've been running around these streets for 14 years doing this barber thing, highlighting it better than anybody can. And I said, you know what? If I stop doing the podcast, somebody else is going to come up with the same kind of idea to do it, and then they'll get whatever following or audience. Mm-hmm. So again, this whole thing is a great conversation. Yeah. It is something that's needed because other people that feel the same way I feel, that have the same kind of big boy energy, that feel like they gonna take up all the air in the room, and that's me, like with a person with a big ego. And sometimes you gotta be,
and that energy is good.
Like,
put it to your place.
This is like, and I know you've experienced this. Somebody see you in the club, yo, what's up, sis? You like, nah, I'm good. Well, get your big head out of like.
Ain't nobody want to talk to you anyway.
Ain't nobody want to talk to you anyway. So it's like when people reject. When Dr. Benjamin Hardy said, yo, you got $50,000, I'll come speak. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I don't. You know what I said? I'll just ask somebody else. Mm-hmm. I didn't get mad. I didn't build a relationship. I ain't gonna lie. Who do these people think they are charging $50,000? He thinks he's Benjamin Hardy.
They are a person who has obviously commanded that before,
100%.
Or they have reached a point in their career where they've elevated to have the right to charge for what they know and for what they contribute. If I come on your podcast, I am going to deliver value to somebody, right? If I choose to charge you, that is my right. It's actually a part of my framework. If that's, and you have to respect that. You have to respect that. You don't have to agree to it. You could literally just move on and stay in your league.
Yeah, I was on live one day, and I wish I can't remember his name. I was on live one day, and my man came on, and he was like, yo, I always want to get you on my podcast. Will you be on my podcast? I was like, bruh, no, I don't have no value, bruh. I barely have time enough for my kids, okay? I'm trying to spend more time with my kids. And I said, well, propose something, bro. Like, give me some sort of offer. At least let me weigh it. And he was like, I'll give you some money. And I was like, how much? We came up with a number. I think it was like $1,500. And I said, you know what? If that's all you got, I'll do it. I was also on live with another dude. Shouts out to Trippy. He's in the morning meetup too. He was like, man, I just want a one-on-one session with you. I was like, yo, bro, you got to offer something. Young kid. He was like, man, I think it might have been like $200 or something like that. And he said, man, I'll drive down to South Carolina or North Carolina, something like that. I'll come to Atlanta. I got $200. I said, bring the 200. I got you. Because he offered something.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he didn't feel like I owed him anything. So the moral of the story is, one, don't get offended when people don't give you what you feel they should, especially when it's a stranger, bro. If I'm stranded on the side of the road and I call Donnie to come pick me up and she's not doing nothing and she doesn't want to do anything, I'm pissed. I have a right because we have a relationship and now you just don't care about me. But if I'm on the side of the road and I call your wife to come get me and she's like, bro, I'm not picking you up. You think I'm going to be like, who she thinks she is? Right. Bro, she don't know me. She don't owe me
I'm
nothing.
a human. I need my life. It could be a life-threatening situation. She could care less.
She don't care nothing about my life. That she got dinner to cook, and what are we going to do? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So, but I do like the fact that you made that dumb post that brought us here. And we got some clarity. Now people know who you are.
So now, what's the end result? What's the next step for you? Are you willing to pay people who have a requirement of being paid, or are you just going to stay in the lane that you're comfortable in and attract free guests? Which there's nothing wrong with that model either.
That's how we built it.
That's how we built it in the beginning.
What
in the beginning?
What my focus is again is to stay in my lane, right? Because I appreciate that information. Stay in my lane, continue to build, and then like my brother DJ Cutter said on my live, he said, stay in your lane until they start calling you.
There we go.
1000%.
Because
There we go.
right now, I do have a lot of barbers that's hitting me up, yo, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get on the pod. That have a great following. That have a whole bunch of substance. That's really doing a lot of things in the barber industry. So, but I'm just like, but I need that. I need that person that's going to really get us there. But I can focus on the people
that's
that's
like, man, who's he think he is? What you mean? I'm not the person who's going to get you there. I get you there.
They be like,
what if they're offended that you don't want them on? You know what I mean? That they can't get on your
They're
body.
offended that you're offended because they saw this clip.
Yeah.
They're offended that you're offended that they wanted to be paid to come on your podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a lot of offense
if
going
they
on.
seen it, because if they seen it, then I'm doing my job. Because the whole point is that I'm trying to bring awareness.
Yeah, I think it's a good
One point.
conversation.
Two, get the podcast name out there. And they always say there's no such thing as bad publicity. So if me going on my rant had you say, you know what, come on, and I've been trying to get on the hot seat for the longest, so I'm here because of that. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Hey, Tara.
It's working.
Tara, you
We're
go
gonna
out
set up the
there
hot seat.
and you build it.
Yes.
I just want you to focus on building it. You just build it. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears. And sometimes that might require an investment from you, right?
Absolutely.
You have to ask yourself, is this guest worth that? Is the value that they're going to bring in excess of the investment that I have to make? That's how investments work. You don't invest to get the same thing back. You invest to 2x, 3x, 4x or more the investment that you made. So the next time somebody quotes you a rate, let me look at this on a case-by-case scenario and see if I believe that the value that they're going to bring to my platform from my audience is more valuable than what they're asking. And if so, and if you can afford it, do it. But I want you to focus on building it. Your energy, your personality, you're going to get it in front of people's faces. If you mix in just a little bit of humility in there, that's going to be what converts.
I appreciate that.
There we go.
All right.
Yep. This has been another riveting episode of the Social Proof Podcast.
Riveting. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, listen, real quick, as usual, comment in the comments what part of this episode stood out for you the most. Are you an entrepreneur that's chasing a $100 million exit? Do you feel like you have some limiting beliefs that we can elevate on any level? Where are you in your entrepreneurship journey? We released a clip not too long ago talking about the fact that it's not as hard to make $1 million as you might think it is. Never said it was easy. We said it's not as hard. And a lot of people commented and said, it's not my goal. All I want to do is to be able to pay my bills, travel once or twice a year, and take care of my family. I want to know what your goal is. Are you looking to take care of your family? Are you looking to build legacy? Are you looking to cash out on an exit? We'll see you next week on the next episode of the Social Proof Podcast.
You just watched this whole episode. If you like this episode, watch this one right here. Click right here. You're going to like this one if you like the one you just watched. Check it out.